And nobody ever leaves this room, ever. All right, real quick, collection of liens. Perfected HOA liens and unpaid assessments. HOA liens are funny animals in Mississippi, okay? As you know, there's no statutory provision for those things. They're obviously covenants generally establish a running lien on the land. We all know that. That's usually the first part of the assessment provision of those covenants. This establishes a running lien on all lots in this neighborhood for a lien for assessments. Some of you abstractors, when y'all are looking at this, you obviously know that there's covenants in the neighborhood, and there may be amounts owed. Perry v. Brucetown, 1986 case. This basically says that if you're a member of an association, you are required to pay assessments. That's simple, okay? You're not going to argue that you're not subject to assessments because you're not getting something, or you're not getting the benefits of the association, or you're not using the pool, or you're not doing it. You're subject to assessments, you've got to pay. Most covenants allow for filing of liens on a particular law. Effort Alexander versus Wayne Vista. Wayne Vista's had some litigation. This case, the court did affirm, which we all do, it's been going on for years, but affirmed the ability of associations to file liens on a particular lot. And we encourage this, okay? I think from an abstractor's point of view, they would love to see an actual lien on that lot that's enrolled in the Chancery Court. And so you request the Chancery Court to file the lien. It gives the HOA authority to file suit against that lien. Obviously, it's contractual. 7911-193 addresses this specifically, but you've got a contractual obligation under those covenants to pay those assessments. If you don't do it, you're in breach of contract. You get sued. Once judgment's obtained, that HOA lien is, I guess, elevated to a judgment. All right? Judgment lien is what gives us all the power, all right, in the collection program. Enroll the judgment lien. That judgment lien can be garnished on. You can execute on property, personal property. You can execute on real property. That's what gives you the right to foreclose on that property. Remember I mentioned in HOA setting, we do not have power of sale. Right? Power of sale is established by the judgment lien. All right? At that point, you can go into court and execute on that judgment lien and get that property. And so, just a note, Ray v. Breakers, this is an old case that we see a lot of. This is Breakers condominium on the reservoir out here. Late fees are charged at 20% per month on unpaid assessments. All right, that's bad. That's 240% per year. Okay, that's bad. I think the court looked at this for about 30 seconds. Usury in nature. This was a condominium, which mortgagee-mortgagor relationship there. They turned to some of our creditor-debtor statutes in 75 and determined that 4% was the max. Anything over double is usurious, and they actually ended up erasing all the assessments, interest, everything, and made Breakers pay the legal fees. So it was a bad deal for Breakers. I just want to kind of note that. This is in my office, okay? This is what I'm seeing. I just thought this was really interesting. Typically, 22, 23, 24, been averaging about 4 to 5% delinquency on community association assessments. All right? This year, we're at 8%. All right? I'm hoping that this is not a trend. All right? I'm really hoping it's not, but typically we like to see 3 to 5% delinquency on association assessments, but this is somewhat concerning. Closing HOA properties, which I know a lot of you do. This many people live in an HOA and probably close a lot type stuff. How do I find out what's owed? How do I find out where the association is, okay?